I had a coach who was taking care of him while I was in Estonia. But then the war started, and almost all the people, all the staff from the stable, they fled to other countries. So there was only like one person left who is the owner of the stable, and he told me that he is not sure that he's gonna get enough food for horses. And when I called him and I asked him like, okay, how much food do you have? And he said, well, maybe for 3-4 days. That was the moment when I realized that I have to pack and I have to go to Ukraine. For horses, it's like a horrible situation because cats and dogs, you can pack and you can, take them through the border. For horses, you need to have a special transport, a driver who has a license for this transport and who has some experience with horses. The whole journey from Kyiv to the border can take, 3-4 days at least. Most of roads are ruined. There is a huge traffic, so there is only like 1 or 2 roads left which you can use, and they are quite small, only like 2 ways. So you have to plan the journey, meaning that you go like one day from Kyiv, then you have to stay somewhere. Then you go one more day, then you have to stay from there. So basically you can do like 200 or 300 kilometers a day, no more. And when I was there, in central Ukraine, you couldn't get more than 20 liters of petrol. For truck, you need 45-50 liters at least.
Did you have to keep changing trucks?
So my friend Ira, she has a track for 2 horses, but she has 3 horses in total. And I found that like a trailer, which was, which can be connected to this track. And there was for 2 more horses. So, and also this is not my trailer. This was a trailer of the owner of this stable, who is like extremely kind, and he literally saved us because he actually agreed to give this trailer. This trailer is old, with broken lights, with broken brakes. It's like completely broken stuff. But at least it was something we could use to take our horses from Kyiv. And I want to mention his name, in case. His name is Anatoly Levitsky. He is quite a famous veterinary doctor in Ukraine, in Kyiv. And he's also owner of the stable. Just because of him, we managed to escape Kyiv. Just because of him. The horrible situation is that the Russian army was coming to Ukraine from 3 sides, from the south, from the north, and from the east. So basically central Ukraine was kind of, almost locked, and there was only few roads left. So we didn't have too many choices. You come to Kyiv by one road, and you can use only one road to escape Kyiv, and that's it. For example, when we arrived to central Ukraine, we did 18 hours trip from Kyiv to central Ukraine, and it was like 300 kilometers, 18 hours, 1-8. Then we arrived to central Ukraine, and we understood that our track is broken. So we had to find a car service, to fix the track. And it took us 2 days to find like at least someone to help us with this track. And we couldn't continue our journey. The same with the food for horses. You arrive to the place and then you understand that you don't have enough of food for horses. So you have to go like around, check all the farms, all the possible stables or shops, ask people to help you. And then you finally get few packs only, and you have like 30 horses in the stable already. I mean, mine was only 1, but we had other people coming to the same stable from Kyiv, from other areas.
So effectively, you were knocking on doors.
We were knocking on doors, asking for food, asking for a place in the stable, and asking for place for people. And sometimes it was possible to find a place for horses, but not for people. And it was few times for us like this. We found the stable, we put our horses, we give them food, but then people have to sleep in cars, or sleep somewhere else, or maybe in the stable, because it was like a late night and it was impossible to find a place for people.
when you were sleeping in the stable or in the car, it must have been so cold.
-5. We all like got exhausted and didn't have enough of food. So after the first week, I was completely I couldn't function. It was a pure adrenaline because your body like can't function without proper sleep and without proper food and without being in warm. We just drove and we spoke to all military guys, and there is like lots of block posts on the road, like military guys. They block the road. You come to the blog post and they say, girls, what are you doing in the night? Like you have to be at home. And we're like, yeah, but we have horses, so we can't stop. We have to reach the final destination, the stable, because we can't just sleep on the parking place with horses. We need to go. So most of them were kind to let us go.
These were Ukrainian soldiers?
Ukrainian soldiers.
Did you come across Russian soldiers?
No, fortunately, no. Fortunately, no. Well, we didn't meet anyone. We had like few aircrafts, like flying around our cities. One night there was a bombarding 10 kilometers from us. But the funny fact is that I was sleeping. I even didn't hear. I wake up and everyone. There was the time when we arrived to the stable at 3 a.m. At 4:30, I said, like, guys, I need to sleep. I slept for 2 hours. I wake up, nobody sleeps. I ask them what's happening. And they say, there was like bombarding just next to us. And I was like, really? I didn't hear anything.
How worried were you on the journey about your safety and your horse's safety?
Well, I was worried about my horse, but not about myself. That's the thing. When you're like, I think we feel it's like being a parent, people who have responsibility about their animals, they have the same feelings. Like you think about your animals as about your kids, and you actually don't care about your safety, but you care about your kids. And this is like your priority number one, to get the food, to get the safe place, to make sure that he's warm, he has enough of water, he's not sick, he's not cold, he has enough of like everything. And then you think about yourself.
But it's interesting you saying you weren't scared about your safety because you were travelling through a war zone.
Yeah, but it's I remember us. We were like, just driving, and there was like air alarm, and there were like few times, and we were like, me and Ira in the same car. We were like, what should we do? I'm like, well, we have to find the petrol, so we just go. Like we continue driving no matter what, because I mean, what can we do if this siren is happening, every hour?
And do you look back now and think, gosh, I was brave?
I think, gosh, I didn't have any other chance. It's like, it's like very philosophical conversation, because some people say you were so brave or you are a hero, but...
Well, you were brave. Let me tell you, not everybody would go back. I mean, it's incredibly heartwarming how many people have left with their animals, but not everybody would. And we know that there's a lot of animals that have been left behind. So the fact that you weren't even in Ukraine and you left Estonia to go to Ukraine, to go to Kyiv, to get Vasya out, that shows incredible courage.
I can tell you even more. I left my kid in Estonia. He's 15 years old, not so kid, teenager. And
how did you weigh up that decision in your mind?
Well, we had a conversation at home, and he said no, and I said, well, if I left you behind, what would you say? And I think he said, like, I don't support your idea at all, because I'm afraid that something might happen to you. And I said, well, you will not respect me if I don't go back, and at least not try to bring him, with me to Estonia. Humans can make their choice, but horses and dogs and cats, they cannot make their choice. They cannot go outside of the stable and hide somewhere. They don't understand about aircrafts. They don't understand about, they don't understand about war. It is not their choice. It was actually my choice and my responsibility that he is still there, and he doesn't have he doesn't have any ways out.
What would you say to those people who might hear this and say, well, hang on a minute, you're a mum, you've got a child, your responsibility first is to him, and he doesn't want to potentially be left without a mum, so don't go.
I think this war, and any kind of war, always shows us who is who, let's say. And it's not about being brave or not brave. It's more like what kind of values you have in your heart. And we can't blame people that they choose to follow, different values. I can't blame anyone. But I make a choice for myself and for my heart, and I know about my how I would feel if I didn't try, if I didn't go there. And my husband, he was also like staying on, but my husband is French, he doesn't know my horse. I met him here in Estonia. He was staying on his knees and like, please don't go. I will buy you another horse. I will buy you 2 horses. Please don't go. I'm like, darling, it's not about the new horse. It's about this particular creature, and like I have some responsibility. I will never forgive myself if I don't go. At least I have to try. Maybe I will fail. Maybe I don't know what might happen, but at least I have to try.
Gosh, so you had your husband and your son.
Yes.
Effectively, obviously out of love, but pressuring you not to go.
During the war, nobody cares about animals, even their own animals. Who will take care of my animal? Nobody needs this horse. So if I don't go, and he said, maybe we can pay money, maybe we can find someone, maybe someone will transport him. I'm like, you don't understand, nobody will take care of him. And people are trying to, survive. Nobody needs your money there, even if you pay like, 10 times more expensive. So it's always, I don't know how to say. It's always about like choices and about what do you feel is right in this life. We knew about people and cats and dogs that it is possible to cross the border without, without special documents, but we had no idea about horses. And what we heard is that they will require some special veterinary documents for horses, we had no clue how to make them in the wartime. Like, how can I find a veterinary doctor to come and to check my horse? How can I get a document? And my horse, when we were escaping Kyiv, my horse passport was locked in some other apartment, 200 kilometers from us. And the owner of that apartment was already in Poland. And we sit together that evening, me, Ira, and Natalia, and 15 more people with like 30 horses at that stable. And we all don't know what to do. We have no idea how to escape Ukraine. At that moment, it was clear that it's not going to take a few days. It can take a week. It can take 2 weeks. It can take a month, to escape with horses. So I was already prepared, like, to stay, quite a long time in Ukraine. So many, like hundreds of horses are staying next to the border without transport and without proper documents.
How did you get your 6 horses over the border?
We were waiting for our documents. We were waiting for 10 days.
Where did you stay during that time?
In different stables. You just ask them to accept your 6 horses, and you hope for the best. And some people say, yes, okay, you can stay for 1 night, let's say.
By and large, during this whole journey, did you find that people were kind, were helpful?
Most of the people, yes. There were 80 people who I met during my journey, and I never knew these people before in my life, who actually helped me.
Out of everything, what was the most challenging part?
I think there's a border procedure, because otherwise we would leave Ukraine, 10 days earlier. People think about horses, I think so, as a luxury thing, so they don't consider it as a pet or as your friend or as a family member. But I know for sure that for most of horse owners, it's not like that. It's not a luxury or entertainment or a sport tool. It's our family member, just a big one.
Absolutely. Listen, I don't have horses, I have dogs, but I can totally understand. They're no less or more important, are they? They're the same. They are a member of your family, and that's the end of it. And anybody who doesn't understand that probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast, to be honest. But what would you appeal? Hopefully, there will be people, horse lovers, listening to this. What would your appeal be to them in terms of what horses in Ukraine need, or people need who are trying to get out of Ukraine with their horses?
Like redirect all the donations and investments into creating these quarantine areas at the border, simplify the process for horses to cross the border, provide the support from European veterinary services to actually do all the documentation on the Polish side or Slovakian or Hungarian side, and give a chance for other horses to escape actually Ukraine faster, because most of them will have no such a chance in terms of money and in terms of time. Most of horses don't have time, don't, like, they are in very dangerous situation right now. And the second thing, to give us like cars, just like give away those tracks. They are not so expensive, so we can transport our horses faster, or at least save some of our horses from cities like Kharkiv, Chernigiv, Zaporozhye, Dnipropetrovsk, which are in a very dangerous situation right now.
And you are in touch with a lot of people, are you, that are trying to get their horses out?
Yeah, and I cry almost every day, because when we finish conversation and I understand that I cannot help those people, I don't have a track, or I don't have someone who will bring them food, or I can't make documents for them faster, and I know like everyone are trying to do as much as they can, but at the same time maybe it's not enough. And there are at least 10 stables around Kyiv, and I didn't monitor other cities, at least 10 stables, which had to let their horses out because it was a dangerous situation. So they had to let them out from the stable, and they still can't find them.
Gosh, so they just had to let them run to escape the bombings.
Yes, and they just like these horses walk around, and for the owner, it's always a difficult choice to keep your horse in the stable so you can, let's say, track her, or to let him or her out and then never find it again. But probably keep it safe from the bombarding, probably. Nobody knows. So it's a horrible choice. This is our stable, our amazing stable. I want you to meet my good friend, our family member, my teenager, like second teenager in our family. His name is Vasya. He is a nice, nice, like black gelding, uh, quite big. Maybe you can't see it from the video, but he's like quite big and very curious. And
What impact did the journey have on your horses? Because they are very sensitive creatures, aren't they?
right now he's feeling okay. His mood is more or less, like active. He's curious about everything. He behaves like a big puppy, but he still has issues with one leg, and I think it will take us at least 1 month or 2 months to fully recover.
What does it mean to you to have your horse with you now?
I'm happy to see when he smiles, when he eats, when he jumps, when he is talking to me, when he's curious, what do I have in my pockets? At least I know that one family, this family member, my good friend, my lovely boy, he is in safety right now. He has enough of everything, and he can have a really good life here.
Would you do it again?
This journey has a happy ending because we all are safe. We are back, and we can have a normal life now again. But the I wouldn't recommend anyone to repeat the same story, the same journey.